July. So got a couple of interns here that are going to join me. So come on down. We're going to just sit down and chat. I'm not going to make y'all stand here like a talking head and do us table here so we can have a microphone. Oh. Well, we've got microphones. Excellent. So, I want to introduce a couple of folks to you. We've got Hunter Casey from Casey Nursery. We've got David Hoffman from Hoffman Nursery. Both nurseries named very creatively by their families. So you guys, I consider y'all special interns for me because y'all interned the first full year I was here at the Arboretum, the first full summer where I actually got a say in the interns. So that's, watching y'all in your career has been pretty interesting for me, especially because of where y'all are now. So can y'all start by maybe talking a little bit about your nursery and what you're doing at your nurseries?
So we're located in Goldsboro, North Carolina. I mean, we are a container grown operation. We grow trees, shrubs, 1 gallon to 25 gallon for the independent garden center trade industry and also the landscape industry throughout North Carolina and Virginia. I've been there now 12 years after college, and we have very much tried to focus our operation on continuing to grow quality plant material along with using as efficient of growing practices as we possibly can.
Yeah, and just I think it was last week or so, I was talking with one of our staff members who's a former intern, Sophia, who works in our greenhouses and nursery. She had worked at another place, and they did a lot of buying from Casey Nursery, and her comment was, man, they grow really high quality plants, and that's the key to success. But I remember, I don't know how many years ago it was. It's 6 years ago maybe. I was at the big North Carolina trade show, and Hunter and his father, Lee, came by the booth, and Hunter was telling me all about what was going on at the nursery and expansions and plans, and his father was standing behind him just grinning because, this is a family nursery, and, are you the man now? Do you get to boss around your dad now?
To a certain extent, he's still trying to find the not retired but not required thing. But as being in business, everything is about having a team of people. And his team has retired, we've got our team in place, and I've actually am now working alongside my brother, who I was very shocked to see return to the company. And so, lots happening there. But yeah, for the most part, day-to-day operations, I'm running the show.
That's pretty amazing. That's a big operation to do all that with. All right, so same year, another intern that we had. We actually kept David around for a while. His father offered him to us to work for free, but we decided to pay him as an intern. So David, tell me a little bit about what you're doing now.
Yeah, so we're Hoffman Nursery out of north of Durham County, and we specialize in ornamental and native grasses for the wholesale trade, specifically for nurseries and for landscapers. Our market is more to the more nationwide and even into Canada a little bit. But yeah, it's sort of grown over time. We sort of have been educating folks about the grass trade from the beginning. I would say not many people knew about grasses, but we sort of started with that back in the early 90s, actually, is when we had grown out our first liners. But it's certainly grown since then. Last year we just expanded a little bit and have a new stock farm that we're growing a lot of our own mother stock at, and it's just keeps growing. But definitely a good team in place to help with that, and
So it's both of them. I got to know their fathers, and watching the interns. They're like my children in some ways. I don't think they realize how much I really like to follow along with what they're doing. But watch their folks really step out. I know you're running the show there. Your mom's still there, and
Yep.
a little bit, but your dad's just out glad-handing people.
That's right.
The retired, not required. I saw you react to that, and that may be something you talk about a little bit as well.
No, he's still involved a little bit. He loves looking at the new plants that are out there and trying to work with our team to get new introductions to the market. And Mom's still involved.
Yeah. I didn't realize until years after I'd known her that your mother had kind of stepped back in to help out with some of JC's classes when he had, after he passed away, former director Ted Bilderback here took over some of JC's classes, and your mom stepped in to help out with that. So
yeah, I think she was a TA for him for a little bit.
Yeah, so it's there's this long history of support from both the nurseries. David, I mentioned, I think is on our board now. Hunter's trying not to look me in the eye as I say that. He's like, I might be next. But, there are times when we're looking for some help, and I put a call out to the nursery industry if anybody knew what kind of tree spade might be a good one for us to get here to help out. And Hunter got back in touch and said, hey, we have one that we're not using. And I said, great. And he said, we'll send it up to you after we get our guys to go over it and fix it and get it in top shape again. So, all that type of support is critical for what we do. So let me what is, give me one memory you have of, Tim being Tim, me not knowing what the heck I was doing as a new person here, or just something that has stuck in your mind from that internship.
To me, it's for sure Tim. I think that his expertise and really wealth of knowledge about this garden is unmatched. And he, it's from everything from knowing about every plant that is out here. I feel like there's not something you can't ask him that he won't know. And that just, he's one cog in the wheel of this, the Arboretum. And I think that it's, it really goes to show just how well that you guys keep people around. I mean, for instance, us being still included in a lot of ways. I think it's, he's certainly an asset to you guys here and has made a big impact on where you guys are today.
Tim, again, I got to echo David. He is a wealth of knowledge, does not forget a thing, and I'm always amazed at that. And then, as far as something else, one memory, we, during our time, it was the summer of 2009, I clearly remember laying off the new perennial trial gardens and stuff back here. They used to be right here in the ellipse behind us, and we helped lay off and start moving them back there. And I know a whole lot has happened in the years since then, but that's the one thing that kind of dates me and I remember from.
That's right. That was that year. I didn't realize that the trials had been out here in this spot since the 50s. And there was apparently a bit of a tiff between JC and the professor who maintained those when JC started in this space. And he was, by God, those trials were going to stay here forever. I didn't realize that until we moved them, that might not sit well with everybody. That professor was long retired, so I think it was okay. Nobody complains about it now. All right, quick question. Does Tim talk faster or walk faster?
I'm going to say he talks faster.
Yeah, I was going to say walk. Because it was funny because whenever he would do plant walks with us, you could still see him, but you had to catch up.
He is funny with the interns. He'll be walking and he just is going a mile a minute, sometimes backwards talking, and it's like a little row of ducks behind him following along. But, that's what's important. We can, the interns get hands-on the propagation, the gardening, installing irrigation, all kinds of things. But it's also, we take the time out to visit other places, take the time out to go around and talk about the plants and I think Tim likes to quiz everybody and stump them, but that's all a good important part of the process. So y'all had the internship here. Did it? Were there things that you look back on now and say, that was helpful for me, whether it was learning something specific or it was making a connection that you could go back to later, or what might have stuck with you that.
I think for me, it's very much about a lot of the resource planning that you guys do here, because there's only so many resources, and trying to make do with what you have is really important. And so I think that's you guys do a great job, and it continues to show how the garden looks, and having a certain number of interns and trying to continue to grow the garden. I think it's important to be able to do, but like I said, with very few resources, this place still looks amazing. So
yeah, our partner Tony Avent, one time I sat with him and somebody who was starting a nursery and as a kind of a second career, and Tony said, "So what did you do before?" And he said, "Well, I've been a banker." And Tony said, "Don't do it. Don't do it. You will go out of business. You cannot start a nursery with money." And I'm willing to bet neither Casey Nursery nor Hoffman Nursery started with a lot of money. And much like the Arboretum, you have to pinch those pennies, figure out creative ways to do what you want to do. Do a lot of it yourself. Rob mentioned knowing plumbing and electricity and construction, because you can't just call the contractor in to do everything. You gotta be tight. And the smart nurseries, even when they get to be successful and large, like y'all's have, you still got to pinch those pennies.
No, that's right. And for me to kind of follow in on that, having grown up, I did a couple of years of community college before coming to NC State. And so I worked at home during that time. And during those years were some very, very strong economic years. The housing market was booming. And I was at an age, late teens to near 20, didn't really realize what down years were until 2008. And then, so, seeing and learning how to have to be as more resourceful with less money coming in and stuff here than what I was truly used to, at the nursery and stuff was a big thing. I mean, and then you always have just, back-breaking work is always good for everybody. And, so, I mean, it's just as hot here as it was at home. And, other than the ground's a lot harder up here than it is at home.
Oh, yeah, you got that sand. Yeah, that's we like having interns that come from nursery backgrounds, because you come from a nursery background, you are definitely a employee, sometimes not paid employee of the business as a kid. That seems to be always the case. So you talked about kind of that downturn, and, I started in, that 2007, 2008 here, and heard nothing but doom and gloom for many years with the economy. And we just came out of COVID, and this has been the one crisis that has been good for the green industry, because people realized how important plants were and were connecting to plants and gardening. And I know neither one of y'all sell to homeowners. Y'all are both wholesale nurseries. Don't go online and try and buy, 3 plants from Hoffman Nursery, three grasses, or a nice osmanthus from Casey Nursery or something like that. Go to your local garden center. But y'all saw that, and it seems like it's driving some more people into horticulture, which is pretty exciting, because that's always an issue, is bringing young people into the field. And as y'all know, it's a very satisfying place to be, from a life enjoyment kind of place. So, with that in mind, and with us trying to move more people into this industry, what are some of the things that you would tell somebody who was thinking about becoming a horticulture student or plant sciences student? Don't say don't do it.
No, absolutely not. Do it, enjoy it, and take advantage of every opportunity that you can, and get to know people. This is a people industry. Knowing people and build relationships, and you do in this industry have to know that it is a hard working job, but you also, at the end of the day, you get a lot of satisfaction of being able to stand back and see a landscape that you did, or a crop that you grew that I did that with my hands.
Yeah. Certainly to reiterate that, but I think that there's a lot of, with telling somebody new to the industry to try it out, there's a lot of different parts of it. So if landscaping isn't your thing, maybe try out working at a garden or at a nursery. You're certainly going to be well-rounded at the end of the day. Lots of different experiences with that.
Yeah.
So I think that that's an important part of it, because you, like Hunter said, there's a lot of different experiences that you can have in any part of the industry, because sort of, as we mentioned before, there's a lot of there's maybe not as many people to do the job, so you get to do a lot of different things too. So it can be pretty versatile.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you mentioned, a lot of what you're doing is, people didn't know about grasses. So, Hoffman Nursery spent a lot of time communicating and teaching. And so you have people who go out and talk about plants and give talks and educate people. It is about more than that. Hunter mentioned those connections, and a lot of us plant people are introverted. Your father's the exception. And so, we like cool plants, but, we're not necessarily out in naturally out in front of people, but, we hear networking and it sounds like some business office thing, but it's just connecting with people. And when you say networking, it feels like it's something you're doing, kind of consciously.
Yeah.
But it really is getting to know people and following up. And this industry, one of the great things about it is, in some ways it's competition. There's only you're selling plants, but really the collaboration and cooperation that I see in the nursery industry is amazing. They share their secrets. If somebody runs out of a crop and there's somebody down the road who's growing a similar crop, they're swapping back and forth and helping out, and it really is important to do that. I also want to mention, I don't know if you could see people behind me. We were able to see some of we could hear them. They sounded like they were either college students who were really drunk or little kids, a lot of running around and yelling. And, that's part of what we do as well. Is it's not just the interns, because at that point we've already got you. If you're applying for an internship, you're already thinking about this. But really talking to the little ones and their parents about the opportunities. It's really satisfying work. It's really enjoyable work when it isn't miserable because it's a million degrees.
Yeah, but even then, it's still something you remember.
That's right.
That is true.
Hunter remembers how hard the clay is here.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
that's important to remember.
That's important to remember. Yeah. But you know, we do when we talk to parents from the kids that we have through here in our children's program, whether that's summer camps or school tours. You know, we talk to the parents and say, like, you know, your kids will work in a place that they love. They will work with people who are fun to be with, and there's jobs. There's a lot of jobs out there in horticulture, from Research Triangle High Tech to propagating, growing plants, hands-on landscaping. It's one of the few jobs where you can get the knowledge, get an old beat-up truck, and start your own landscaping business. And if you work hard and are smart, you can grow it into something really amazing, like your folks did with y'all's nurseries. And both of y'all, the discussion is a lot about how it's been expanded and grown and brought into the 21st centuries in different ways, that really modernizing it and making it better. So I really appreciate y'all being here. It's always fun to see y'all. I still kind of think y'all as young college students, even though there is a little one running around that I've been watching that's a little chip off the old block of with Hunter here, and I know David's got little ones, which it seems crazy to me that they're allowed to have kids, but it'll be okay. Mine survived and are doing well now, despite everything I did to mess them up.